Hi viewers, today we're talking to Justine Martin from Just Start, and she's also a resilience consultant, and she's got some exciting things happening in her business and life at the moment, and I'll let her introduce herself. Hello Justine, how are you?
Hi Matthew, I'm great. How are you surviving lockdown?
Oh, surviving. Surviving is a word. That's a good description. That's all I'll say. What about you?
Oh, look, I'm fine. I flourish. I'm quite used to being in isolation with my health concerns. So this is not my first rodeo, and I don't think it'll be our last rodeo through it either, though I have heard today that regional Victoria restrictions are lifting, so that's good. I'll get online in a moment and check what is happening. My phone's been running hot since they've announced it because all my students are like, can we come back face to face? So I've got to check all the legalities on it, and I'll let them all know shortly.
Cool. Now as a resilience consultant, as you've got under your name there, you're teaching resilience. You're helping people with their resilience through things like this.
Yes, that's right, Matthew. I'm a resilience consultant and speaker. So I've been doing this for a little while now. Through all the adversity that I've come through in my own journey, I'm helping others face adversity in their life. So COVID lockdowns, anything really that they're struggling with and they can't see a light at the end of that tunnel, I can help them walk that path. So, yeah, it's exciting.
That's really fantastic. We all need that at the moment, I think.
Yeah, business is booming.
and of course you've got your Just Start. Some exciting things happening there at the moment. I've seen some posts on Facebook. Tell us about what's happening there.
Okay, so where do I start with it? So I've got a gallery called Just Start Gallery, which is part of Cafe Zoo in Drysdale, and it's open 7 days a week, so you can pop in there at any time and grab a gorgeous cuppa and a feed, and when COVID restrictions allowed, of course, and have a look at my art. And there's up to about 40 pieces displayed there at any one time. From that, I run out of my home studio and gallery here, Just Start wellness classes. So to other people with disabilities, they can come along and learn how to paint, draw, sculpt, whatever they choose to do in a very calming and relaxing environment, even though the studio's jam-packed with art supplies. So this is one of my students' pieces. Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
It's so cool. I've watched her develop this over the last few weeks, and we're about to launch an online platform. So if someone is stuck at home and they're unable to access us, we'll be having online live art tutorials and classes, and that's about to go national. So that's not just stuck here in Geelong. So yeah, that's really exciting. That'll be up and going by the end of the year. So what else is happening? Oh yeah, I've written a book. Actually, I've written a couple, but I've written an illustrated children's book all about inclusive and being equal, and that's about to go to the publishers this week. So I can give you a quick little. So these are some of the pictures that I've illustrated for it. And here's one that's nearly finished, so you can get to see this before anyone else does.
Wow, cool.
He's nearly finished. So the story's finished, and I've got about 3 paintings to go. But yeah, it's going off to the publishers. I've just penned a chapter for a book called Release the Shackles, and that'll be out by the end of the year. So I'm co-author in that particular book. Just trying to think what else is happening in my world. I've got another business that will be launched by the end of the year called Gogh Decals, and that's putting my bright, vibrant artwork onto caravans and camper vans and mobility scooters and wheelchairs, wheelie bins, one-way vision if you need privacy in your home, you can put my artwork out the front. And if you live in Marshall, you'll probably be able to pick which is my house, because it is jam-packed out the front full of artwork. But also I've got a similar design to this one on my front windows. So I had a real issue with privacy, people walking past, because the footpath's quite close to the house, and I need to rest a fair bit due to having multiple sclerosis, and I just felt like I was in a fishbowl, or I'd have to have the curtains closed. So that's fixed that. So I'm sure there's other people out there that have similar issues.
Who needs the Christmas lights when you've got your house, hey?
I know, right? And I actually put some fairy lights up last night. I've got a topa tree at the front door, standard topa tree, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if fairy lights would look good on that. So I wrapped up one, and I'm like, and thought, oh, I'll see what it's like. And then last night, it just looked awesome. I'm like, right, I'm doing the other one today. So it's always something new going in the front yard. And people walk past all the time, especially, during lockdown with their kids. And, my house has like a 5'6" live big giraffe sculpture out in the front yard, and people are always stopping, and the kids are always pointing and finding something new in the garden. And that makes me smile to see that. And quite often I'm tagged on Instagram where they'll take photos with their dogs in front of the giraffe, and there's whirly things going around, and dress sculptures, and you name it, it's in the front yard. So it's a happy place, and the house colours match it as well, because I've just had it all recently painted in bright lime green and turquoise and lilac, and a dark charcoal, pretty much like my glass.
I'm sure people will start looking out for it more now. Because it'll stand out a bit. Tell us about also, we all know you from Just Start, but tell us a bit more about your resilience consultancy.
Well, that's all come about. Previously to becoming an artist, when my world changed 10 years ago with being diagnosed with MS and was told that I'd never be able to work again, I think I've proved them wrong. I was in the wellness industry as a wellness coach for 10 years. And so I have a lot of experience helping people, and I wanted to get back into helping people. And through developing the art wellness classes, I discovered that there were a lot of people struggling with adversity in their lives. And, to give you a breakdown, in the last 10 years, I've come through, being diagnosed with MS. I've had 3 heart surgeries, pericarditis, lividio reticularis, mixed cryoglobulinemia, melanoma, lymphoma, leukemia, and a broken arm, broken big toe, torn cartilage, and a cracked rib, I think, and pitting on the eyeballs. I think that's about everything. And so, that's given me a lot of adversity to work through, and a lot of experience and knowledge has come through that. And people are always saying to me, oh, how can you bounce back so quickly after everything that you come through? And that's like building up that resilience. So I've become a resilience consultant to help other people, bounce back that little bit quicker through life. Now, it doesn't happen just overnight, even for me, but with the strategies that I give people to put in place and the direction and everything, it definitely speeds things along, and, gives them a new outlook and direction for their own life.
Fantastic. That's a fantastic service to provide for people, especially at the moment.
Oh, sorry, Matthew. And through that, I've got a series of self-help books coming out, and I've developed an online course which will be released in the next couple of months on how to overcome adversity and gain resilience in 8 weeks. So that will help not just people coming in for one-on-one consulting, which is what I do, but will be launched worldwide.
Fantastic. Sounds like you got all your ducks in a row there. Sounds like everything's happening. So, yeah.
It is.
Don't mean to jump around a little bit, but can you show us a little bit more of what you're working on with regards to your artwork? Have you got any sculptures or anything? Yeah.
What have I talk about? Put me on the spot here, Matthew.
That's all right. That's all right.
I've got this one that I'm working on.
Yep.
So it's nearly finished. there's a few spots in here that I'm not quite happy on. I don't know if you can see. Can you see the?
Yes.
That, yeah. So that's a sculpture to go. Well, they go on fence panels. So that's a trail life for someone. And my son owns a 3D printing business, and so I support him. And so he's made me everyone's names to go on there, and they'll be stuck on there and painted around. I'm just trying to think what else I've got lying around here. Oh, I've just finished this one. So she's going to be made into a stuffed toy. So she's going off this week for that. What else have I got lying around? I'm not working on too much at the moment because I've been painting for the book, and because I'm still recovering with the broken arm and torn cartilage. So it's been difficult. I've got this one, which is just the base layers going on for that one. There's a whole heap of projects out in the garage that I've been working on, and bit by bit. So there's a very long list, I can tell you, very, very long.
It seems to me that painting and your creativity has been a real therapy for you as well.
Oh, definitely, Matthew. It's been my form of meditation. I mean, when I was told 10 years ago that I'd never be able to work, the one thing my neurologist actually said to me was, and this was in WA, you better find a hobby. And I'd always wanted to learn how to paint, but it was so far down the list because of work commitments. I thought, oh, I'll get to it one day, or maybe when I retire, that's what I'll do. And then all I had was time. It's like, well, how am I going to fill up my days? So it took me about 3-4 months, believe it or not, to walk through the door of an art studio because my anxiety was terrible, because I'd gone from corporate down to nothing and sat at home just looking at 4 walls, which a lot of people are experiencing now because they can't work their normal jobs or they're out of routine. And it's like, I need to do this. And I'd drive to the studio and I'd sit outside and I just couldn't walk inside. And then one day when I drove there, I'm like, all right, today's the day, snap out of this, take some control back in your life, because I felt the MS was just controlling me. And from that moment on, I walked into that art studio and took to it like a duck to water. And then within about 6 months of me starting, and we'd moved states by that stage, and then I started at the Springdale Community Centre painting there, learning how to paint. And I sold my first piece for $300. And I'm like, wow, I can still make some money. And I donate a lot of work and gift vouchers to charity. So if anyone is watching today and they're looking for some prizes, just give me a holler, and I'm only too happy to contribute back with a gift voucher. I do adult finger painting workshops and in corporate situations, as well as normally I give away, a voucher for 2 and you can come along and learn how to finger paint. And I discovered that technique when I was going through the cancers and I couldn't hold a paintbrush for a period of time. And I was really, really missing creating and doing art and going into that headspace, and then realised that I could actually still finger paint and have made some really cool pieces just by using your fingers. So you don't need elaborate pieces of equipment to create art at all. But I think it's really important that you have some form of hobby in your life, and that builds resilience as well. That will help you overcome the adversity, rather than sitting there watching mindless TV for hours and hours and hours on end. There's nothing wrong with watching television, but you get to a point where if you're feeling quite frustrated and there's some anxiety building up, it's really important to look after the self-care in you. And I find art is my way of dealing with, that self-care. I just happen to make a full-on business, and I joke around with everyone saying, oh, this is my hobby, because, this room, would you like a tour of the room, Matthew?
Yeah, I'd love a tour of the room. I think we'd all love a tour of the room.
So, there we
go. I'm sure there's more outside, like as you mentioned, in the front yard and all that.
Oh yeah, look, there is. This is just the studio where students come and create, and then there's other zones in the house that we do stuff as well. So I'm very fortunate to have a beautiful house that I share with others to create their passions as well.
Fantastic. Now, I'd love to hear a little bit more. I think you touched on it before, but a little bit more about your connection with the Geelong region and how were you always here, or did you move here? No.
So I was born here 50 years ago. Let's just keep that between us, Matthew.
And everyone else is watching.
And everyone else. Yes, I'm 50. And we left when I was about 2 and moved to Melbourne and grew up till about the age of 9 in Hyatt and Dingley. And then my mum was extremely ill, and her parents came down from Sydney and took her back up to Sydney. And my brother and I, of course, went along. My parents had divorced not long after that, and then spent 12 months or so in Sydney living with my grandparents while my mum was well enough to look after us again. So she was diagnosed with MS at the age of 33, and previous to that she had breast cancer at 27. We then went from there to northern New South Wales to a little small country town called Glen Innes, and there was about 6,000 people in that town. We were only supposed to be there 12 months, and I left 23 years later and moved to Perth, as you do. I wanted to get out of town. I just went to the other side of the country, and flourished in Perth, loved Perth, and then got quite ill with the MS to start with. And then my mum's family, and some of my dad's family still live here in Geelong, and so we made the decision to move back here, and that will be 10 years at the end of this year. So I moved back with my fiance at the time, and then he decided that living with me was going to affect his goals and dreams in life. So he left me and moved back to Perth and left my daughter and I here. And I've flourished ever since. So I don't know about his goals and dreams in life, but mine are flourishing. So I've got lots of things on the bucket list still to tick off. So there you go.
What's keeping you here? What do you love about Geelong?
Well, can I say what I don't like?
Well, okay.
I don't like the weather.
Okay. I don't think anyone's going to really argue with you there, but
no one's going to argue with that.
It's Victoria, so would expect.
Yeah, look, Geelong is my home now. It wasn't my choice to come back, but I've made the best out of the adversity that I faced, and I love my home, and I love my circle of friends that I have here. I love my clients. I love the beach when. Those couple of days of the year that we can actually get to visit it. And I love the fact, outside of COVID times, that I can jump on a plane and I can go north and visit my son in Townsville during the winter months. I normally go away for a couple of weeks, and I can defrost and then I come back. But everyone has been so warm and welcoming. I have a huge network of people around me here in Geelong, and I've just been welcomed by absolutely everyone. So that's what I like about Geelong.
I think we all need someone like you in our lives to give us that inspiration, because there's always someone that's doing it harder than we are, I think. And for you to be able to share your story with us and give us that sort of inspiration, because you've been through so much. I mean, we've all been through stuff, but you've been through more than your fair share of stuff, I think, Justine. But you've bounced back. Oh, beautiful, beautiful doggy there.
This is Pansy. She's the studio dog.
Studio mascot there.
She is, and she's got a whole book written about her, haven't you?
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
It's been great having you, and thank you for sharing your story with us, Justine. It's been wonderful. And as others have said, you're an inspiration, and you've certainly been through some stuff, but you've shown strength through that. So
can I mention that
yes,
this
you can mention whatever you want.
this last couple of weeks has blown me away. I was nominated for the Osmumpreneur Awards and had 11 nominations come through for that. And out of the 11, I've made 10 of the finals, which is just absolutely like mind-blowing. Today, the People's Choice Award has just started, and it'll be up on my socials, and it's Manic Monday, so I might even put it into the group if people can vote for me in the health and wellness business. I've been nominated for the People's Choice. And then there's another lot of awards called the Raw Awards, and they're being judged at the moment, and I've been nominated for 4 of those. So I'm just so humbled and proud of, what's happened, through the last 10 years. And, never lose sight of your own goals and your own dreams in life, because you just don't know, where they will take you. So, but thank you for the opportunity this morning or today.
Fantastic. I was going to ask you whether you had any parting wisdom, but you've already just told us then. So, yeah, never don't let things hold you back. So that's good.
No, not at all. And, my story could be just someone else's survival guide. So if you are struggling, get in touch with me, and I can help you get on the right direction.
Fantastic. Thanks, Justine. It's been wonderful.
No worries. Thanks, Matthew.
Good on you. See you later. Bye.